Cool glasses.
Thank you.
They actually really do look good on you. You look awesome.
Don't look too shabby yourself there.
Thank you.
Shrimpo.
Oh, hi. We didn't see you there. Welcome back to the Elk Lodge podcast, the #1 podcast in Argentina. We just found out. Very exciting. So shout out to everybody in Argentina, all of our listeners. As always, this show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee, Chicago-based coffee company brewed right there in the city of Chicago.
Soon to be a mom and pop.
Oh, that's right. So if you want to support the family and support this podcast and just get some really good coffee that's not, Starbucks or Pete's or any of these giant corporations, drink Hexa. And if you go to hexacoffee.com, that's HEXE coffee.com, check out using the promo code ELK and you'll get 10% off of your purchase. Today on the show, who do we got, Christine?
We've got Jake Hillhouse on the show.
Mm-hmm. Who we had never met.
Never met. That was a first time getting to know somebody on air with you guys.
Yeah, Jake is
on air. I think that's radio. Excuse me.
He's a internet stuntman. You may have seen his. Whoa,
they come to get me after that bad joke.
The joke police are here. No, Jake is like an internet stuntman, wild man. You may have seen his very popular Mime series, like on TikTok and Instagram, where he dresses as a mime, hits himself in the shins or does something and has to stay quiet. They're really popular.
It was interesting, too, watching some of the things, or talking to him about how his accounts got taken away and all that hard work. And it was interesting. Nice young guy, humble guy.
Nice hustling, young fella. Yeah, great guy. We had a great time getting to know him.
Yeah, enjoy. Couch-wise, you can...
Wherever you're comfortable.
Oh, sweet.
Take my shoes off?
No.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, how's that?
You're tuned in now.
Red dot.
Do people always usually wear these?
It helps because otherwise you don't know necessarily when you're like too far from the mic.
Okay.
So you can, it kind of keeps you.
You don't have to.
Certainly don't have to, but it keeps you in sucked in really. That's what we found.
All right, dude.
This is trippy a little bit. I can hear myself.
Yeah.
My voice is very high pitched. You know when you hear your voice in like a video and then
oh my gosh, the worst.
Yeah.
It's like the skull is like this beautiful echo chamber that makes your voice like deep and cool, and then you hear it on
but you have a very
awful.
Soothing, calm voice. Like you could be like those ASMR people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh sure, yeah.
This is not the first time we've recommended this.
But even for me, like in my head, it's deeper. It's better. Like when I hear it on camera, it's like, oh wow,
that's like me. I already have a high pitched voice to begin with, so when I hear it in this, it's like, oh my god, it's like my balls never dropped.
There's certain sounds I make too laughing that are just like so shrill, and when I hear it, I'm like, oh no, like that doesn't sound like it when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
How old are you?
32.
32.
Yeah.
Well, roughly the same.
Roughly. It's a decade away.
There's no difference really between 20 and like 35. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean.
No.
Even up to 40. I mean, I don't know. I'm with Steve all day. He's 47. He's just more, I don't know. You're farther along, I guess, when you're older, but
you're farther along, but you haven't necessarily gone further.
Whoa. Yeah.
Necessarily, It gives you time. It gives you a leg up if you use it wisely, but.
Oh, actually, I told Steve you're going to be on my show, and he wants me to take a picture of your tramp stamp.
Okay.
That he gave you.
For sure.
Can I do that right now?
Yeah, of course.
And I'll text it to him.
You want me to get up?
Yeah, get up.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Wait a second.
Steve gave Jake this tattoo, which is pretty dope. You're going to love it. Oh, it actually looks great. That's a great shot.
Wait, get it with the... Maybe Jeff Specs won't want it with the Jeff Specs.
Oh, well, I'm just texting it to Steve. He just wanted to see like how it's looking. He's like, I hope it's looking dope.
Did you do this in a van down by the river? Where did this happen? At his house?
This happened in a hotel room in Toronto when they had a show there. And basically, Scott had told me to come to the hotel room the next day because they had a show that they invited me to, and come to the hotel the next day in downtown Toronto. So I'm on my way there, and he's like, you brought your tattoo gun, right? And I was like, well, I just happened to have it in the car. I happened to just leave it in the car. They didn't really tell me beforehand. And my tattoo gun is like a $70 tattoo gun off Amazon. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, well, I have it, but I don't really know what the plan is. I like, honestly, it could just stop working at any point. And then I showed up, and he's like, so we're filming like a tattoo video where I'm trying to become a professional tattoo artist. And I was like, okay. And he's like, so we're going to give you a tribal tramp stamp. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to get a tramp stamp, it may as well be from Steve-O, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it took like 2 hours, and it really hurt because of how bad the gun was, or machine, whatever you call it. He had to keep going over it. I remember he actually ended up starting to get frustrated a little bit. Yeah. Because of how it was acting. And I was like, sorry, Steve, I don't know what to tell you, man, that the gun sucks.
And he's like such a perfectionist too. Yeah. Like he can't, that's why he wants me to take a picture of it to make sure it looks good. Yeah. Otherwise he's going to want to touch it up or something.
Yeah, no. Well, you made it.
He wanted to do shading on it. And after 2 hours, I'm like, Steve, I don't know if this is going to work, because I'm pretty sure you need like a different type of needle for that. And we're like trying to like figure it out. And I was like, I don't know, it looks cool the way it is. Let's not fuck it up. And he's like, you know what? You're right. So
sometimes
perfect.
Less is more.
It's my favorite tattoo.
I was going to say, is it your favorite tattoo? I imagine you've got a number of dumb, shitty tattoos, no?
Yeah, I got a ton. I think only like 6 of my tattoos in my body are like professionally done. Mm-hmm. I like this one. That one's my dog. So that's probably my favorite one.
That's a good
little
one.
Poodle?
Yeah.
What is
She's a doodle, so a retriever and a poodle mixed.
Oh. Cute.
Her name's Lexi. But that's probably my favorite one, and then the Steve-O one.
Dope. Mm-hmm. So what's your, like, I don't know, your story even really? Like, for the people listening, you DM'd me that you'd be in town. Mm-hmm. Probably trying to do something with Steve-O, but I was like, dude, come do my podcast. But there was also a previous DM from like 2017 that I never really saw. So, which means you would have hit me up when I was with the Dudesons and stuff. But anyway, you're from Canada?
Yeah, so I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm 23 years old. I basically started doing this whole stunt gig through skateboarding. I think that's how most people got into it. I broke my arm, I don't know, like 3 times skateboarding in 1 year. Like it just kept snapping. I was like, oh, I'm looking at my YouTube channel and I'm making these skate videos, and every time I break my arm, that video does the best. It's like 2,000 views or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if I'm just going to be hurting myself skateboarding anyways, I'm not going to be a professional because I'm not good enough. I may as well just kind of hurt myself on purpose and make kind of, not a living, but like make videos out of it, you know? And that's kind of how it all started. And as for the DM with you, yeah, I originally saw your work with the Dudesons. And the Dudesons and, Jackass were like my inspirations or whatever. And I seen you working with them. I'm like, oh, let's hit up Paul. How's Paul doing? And, 4 years later, it comes around full circle.
Here we are.
It's funny, too, because you hit me up today. You're like, let's do the podcast tonight or whatever. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't remember. I have never, it's so weird. I've never gotten in contact with Yuka, ever. And he DM'd me back today. And he said, I'm not in LA. I'll be there in the summer. I'm in Finland or something like that. And I was like, that's so weird that like me and you were doing the podcast the same day that he finally, after years too. I wasn't spamming or anything. It was literally like the last DM was probably like 2 years ago, a year ago.
Wow.
And he randomly just found it. I don't know. It was really weird.
That is weird. I mean, I haven't told him anything about you coming here or anything, so it is completely coincidental. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird how the world works.
It is weird. It's funny how things are like clicking.
There's a little pulse to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Does it feel like for you, with Jackass Forever having just dropped, like your whole world, your whole kind of industry is like up a little bit? Even though you're not in Jackass Forever, but like it's all kind of, high tides rise all ships, or what is it called?
There you go, yeah.
I was just
well
on.
Done.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
I mess that one up all the time.
Yeah. She can't do idioms very well.
I
but anyway.
That too. But, so I was on Vancouver Island with Colton there. That's where he's from. I'm from Toronto. Beautiful. So I was on the island before we got here. And I was filming for like this documentary that's coming out in September or whatever. It's like I don't really know fully what it is. It's what was it called? Anything for Fame or something like that?
Yeah, Anything for Fame, I think.
I've been filming with a documentary crew for like a month or so now. And so they came to the island, and I was like, well, we should all go see Jackass because it's been like 10 years, and this will obviously boost that kind of genre again. Like, I feel like it'll bring that whole, stunt era back a little bit. So I was like, let's go to the theater. You guys can documentary and kind of get my, like, view on it or whatever. And so we rented out a movie theater. He had a few of his buddies come there, and we all watched it in the theater. It was really cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking we have to make a date of this.
haven't
we
seen
haven't
it.
we haven't done
You
we
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
it?
it
I
yet.
haven't seen
We're
it.
the
We did a
worst.
podcast with Johnny Knoxville like yesterday, and I was like, I hope he doesn't ask me about it because
We're
I haven't
late.
even seen it.
We're late.
Yeah, I might just wait till we can watch it at home. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
It was really good.
Sounds
I
like
believe
a good
it.
It was
I
really
believe it. I
funny.
mean, I've been hearing about it forever, obviously, but yeah, it's fucking. I've heard it's good. I believe that it's good.
It was it didn't feel as gnarly as the old days, obviously, for like certain reasons. So
Yeah.
I could feel that Johnny and them were definitely like, we brought these new guys on to kind of step up a little bit for us, because
Sure.
like Poopies was definitely like had some of the gnarliest bits in it. And then what was I gonna say there? But yeah, and then it also felt like it felt more comedic though. It felt like they added more comedy in. That's how I kind of took it. Was
That's
that they
nice.
kind of dumbed down.
I like
Less
that
gnarly,
idea.
more the humor, more the.
Yeah, that's how it
good.
kind of felt.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, Tremaine was on our podcast, and like Steve like prefers Jackass 2. He's like, because that's the gnarliest, and then like Tremaine's like, oh yeah, you like the ready to die shit, but like they're all kind of their own thing and good in their own way.
I seen that podcast, and I'd agree that Jackass 2 is probably the one that they're most misbehaved on. So it
Yeah.
kind of like adds that like dynamic of like just wanting to let loose.
Yeah,
For sure.
The naughtiness.
The
Yeah.
naughtiness,
Naughtiness
naughty
factor.
behavior, and that's when they were like living it on camera, off camera, like they were just fucking
Going for
bad behavior,
Yeah.
rock and roll boys,
So wait, the poopy scene with the sharks, that was all through Shark Week, right?
Yeah, that was just for the
Okay.
Discovery Channel.
Did you see any of that footage? Because that was also pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I did see that. I don't remember it that well, but I do remember how bad like it was. It was freaky, and just sharks alone really creeped me out.
Same.
So.
I watch too much Shark Week. They just haunt me a little bit.
I saw
but
Poopies this morning actually, and like
anyways,
it's
yeah,
gnarly.
he got chewed up.
And he's still got like kind of nerve damage, kind of like numbness in his pinky, and like he said when
He
he gets
literally
cold,
fed
it gets
himself
kinda-
to the sharks.
Yeah,
Because it was the scene from what was he reenacting?
it was the Happy Days,
The Happy
jumping the shark.
Days.
Yeah.
Gone wrong.
Gone wrong. Happy Days gone wrong.
Gone. Fish
But
frenzy.
yeah, dude, it's a fucking. Were you aware of like Poopies and Zach and Rachel and who's the other guy, the British guy, Eric?
And I'm not really familiar with Eric, but Jasper.
Sure,
Odd
Jasper,
Future,
yeah.
He was great. I think he was definitely one of the funniest in the movie. I was aware of it. I think I found out like early last year, just because I have mutuals with Zach or whatever, so I knew Zach was in it. I didn't know the rest of the cast, but I thought it was great. I thought it was a great idea. I loved it.
Yeah.
The dynamic of it, and it's funny because. I don't know if you've seen my videos, but I do this whole like little mime gig.
I have been seeing your mime shit.
And it's cool because I've for years taken ideas from Jackass and kind of made them my own. They created the genre, and then it feels like in the movie that they kind of used one of mine. They did the whole mime bit, so it was kind of flattering to see.
I kept seeing that in the preview, and I was like, did they take that from Jake or something? And I think Scott was like, no, I think it was just coincidence that they. But still,
Yeah.
And I was like, well, dude. And then I noticed you're just like going hard with the mime shit to
Yeah.
like stake like the mime thing was my fucking thing, which I thought was smart. Like it's good, like stake it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're the first person I saw do it.
I think the whole idea of it was because before when I was doing these stunts, I failed, and I remember Steve-O even DM'd me. He's like, you gotta add like more comedy to it. Like you can't just be shooting pellets through your cheek and be like, oh, this is like you have to make it somewhat funny so that people are kind of attracted to it. And I feel like the mime thing definitely kind of added that comedic value to it. Like you have to be quiet while you're like going through like relatable pains, kind of.
Yeah.
And it kind of took off on TikTok a little bit, and then Instagram. So I just kind of ran with it. And then, when you do something 1,000 times, you're just kind of like, oh, fuck, this is kind of boring. So I stopped it for a while. And then, yeah, you're essentially right. I seen a little bit of it in the summer, or maybe September, and I was like, fuck, they're doing the mime thing. It's like, well, I gotta post some mime stuff. I need people to know that it's kind of, but yeah, it might have been
Or
coincidence.
at least get enough out there that people notice it before Jackass, so they're not gonna be like, oh, he's ripping off Jackass. Like, it'd be like, no, I was doing it. Even if it all happened coincidentally, like, I didn't rip it from them. Like, you know.
Exactly.
Like, what do you
Smart.
always say? Art impersonates life, impersonates art.
Yeah, exactly. And like, if you don't, like,
who
so
knows?
he
The
paints
chicken and
like,
the egg, who cares?
He paints like mime makeup on himself, and then like,
No, I know.
Oh,
I was watching today. I was
good,
checking
okay.
out. It's really funny, and I like the little like, I don't know, the kind of coffee bar jazz and music opportunity that you play with it all. It's fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is something that Jackass like mastered, which I've noticed Steve and Yuka and Yarno would like kind of criticize the like whatever generation after them, where it was like people were just doing gnarly shit, like like shoot yourself in the cheek or fucking, and like there's no like it has to be like the mime or things like that, or like you're blindfolded and your goal is to do it a certain way, but you're gonna fail, and like that's where the humor is, like.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I failed to understand that for so long, and I feel like that kind of hurt my progression a little bit. So I think just over the past like even just year or like couple years, I kind of realized that there has to be like a motive for it. Like, it's supposed to be set up for failure, but yeah, just taking like the pellet gun and shooting like your face or something like that, or there has to be some sort of community value to it. So I've learned that, and I think as time goes on, I'll only kind of master my little
for sure
shtick.
It's cool. It's like the old timey silent films, and not having to
100%.
worry about like what you're gonna say or how you're gonna say it or whatever. Just frees up more time for kind of inserting the slapstick humor of it all, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, and
really cool.
What's beautiful about the mime thing, and a lot of really good bits, is like you don't need the sound. Like it's funny just as like a pantomime.
They say too, like I don't know, as much as like 85% of people watch videos without sound. So
Really?
Yeah.
It's like higher than you would guess. And so, yeah, to actually have a piece of content that people don't need to listen to
Right, it's
to
purely
understand is probably a good thing.
85% without sound. I feel like that would make sense.
I think it was at least TikTok that I saw that on, which
Okay.
it feels hard to believe. Like I never
Oh, but you're
watched
scrolling
it
like
without
at
it,
work or in
without the
public
sound.
or.
Well,
I know,
feel
but I
like
guess
it would make sense if you're watching porn or something, right? Because you don't want people to hear that.
I
But
turn that shit up.
Fair enough.
Play it through
Put
the
AirPods
Bluetooth.
in, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, you're right. But I think a lot of people are like, we pull our phones out, like your boss walks by, your phone goes away. As soon as they're gone, the phone's back out and you're flipping through TikTok while you're like pretending to work, and you don't want that thing too loud. I think that's why that's
I'm
probably
currently
what
at a
brings
job that
average
like
up.
monitors, or has certain websites banned.
Ooh,
So I guess
on your
I
phone?
don't. My phone Instagram doesn't work. Our IT guy authorized
Spooky.
Instagram on my laptop because I handle stuff with social media, but for the most part, people can't. I assume TikTok's one, but yeah, I don't really.
That's irritating.
I
That's
don't
like
scroll.
being back in elementary school.
Yeah, that is
It's
irritating.
it's
Big brother shit.
yeah, it is. It's a little like they're paying me to be there and to pay attention, so I get it and to be present.
enough.
So I think if it doesn't bother me that much, but I could definitely understand. Like it bothers me the idea of like them tracking, when my computer screen goes like dull or whatever, like goes black. But I don't know, that one doesn't bother me for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. It is their time and their money. They're paying you to be there, I suppose. But
Oh yeah, workers'
kind
rights.
of
So I'm with
odd
you. I'm
system.
with you.
Yeah. So do you edit your own stuff?
I have. I hate editing though. Colton edits a lot of my stuff
Nice.
now. And
Shout out
films
to
a lot.
Colton.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a buddy Brandon that helps me edit and stuff too. Like for the YouTube videos and TikTok, I guess. Yeah, everything. I hate editing.
But at the
I was-
beginning, you were editing your own
Yeah.
shit and uploading those skate videos. And then
Oh, yeah.
when you're breaking your arm and shit. Mm-hmm. And that was just going on YouTube?
For the most part, YouTube's always just been the thing that like even I have like my most followed social media was like TikTok, I guess. Now it's deleted now. It got deleted like 2 weeks ago. But I've always just used other social medias like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or whatever, just to filter them to my YouTube, because that's all I don't really like the short, like, quick, almost like no effort content. I've wanted to always just create 10 to 20 minutes of like, a whole video has a storyline to it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've always just gravitated towards YouTube.
Do you do like vlogging and stuff, or it's just all like around the bit?
Well, I think originally it was mainly just focused around the bit or the prank, whatever I was doing. But then I realized with like the community guidelines and everything and how everything's kind of moving, there's no longevity to just doing painful shit anymore. At least that's how it feels for me, because I'm constantly being like upload banned. Like I've had every one of my social medias deleted at one point. I got my YouTube and my Instagram back. So I think right now I'm actually currently like in the middle of transitioning to a part where it's like vlog with like a storyline, and then also kind of keeping that shock value stunt material in there, and kind of like creating a good balance where like I do have longevity, but then I also get to do what I want, if that makes sense.
Sure. What's your kind of like, what am I trying to say here? Like, where are you trying to go with all this? Like, is there kind of a, like, checkpoints and goals that you're trying to hit? Or is it just like, just blast forward and see what happens?
Well, I think for the most part, I'm just kind of trying to set myself up so that, because what I want to do is, it's not necessarily that I want to hurt myself and do these crazy stunts for a living, although I do love the aftermath and like going back and watching it and laughing with my friends. But I think overall, I just want to be able to create content for a living, because that's like my passion, right? So I'm trying to set myself up to a point where I don't need to go to a 9 to 5. I don't need a boss or anything. I make minimal amounts of money. Like I'm not asking for like, I don't want the nice cars or the nice houses or anything like that. I just want to be able to support myself financially doing what I love, kind of, and that's content. Yeah. And I think that's like the end goal. I don't know what that looks like yet, and I think that's something I'll find out as I progress.
That's the end goal, or that's just sort of the next sort of thing you're trying to hit? You don't think you'll get to there and be like, oh, you know, maybe a car would be kind of nice, or like if they're like, we're doing Jackass 5 and we're bringing in more younger people, like, are you in your head thinking like, you know,
fair enough,
how can I position myself to kind of be, if they do Jackass 5, like, and want to bring in even more people?
Fair enough. That would be a dream. Yeah. I think, yeah, for the most part, I think I need to take it a step at a time that way. But yeah, you're probably right. Maybe not the end goal, but that's just overall, I would be happy. Like, you know, that's just kind of like, if that could happen, and that was just something that's just how my life kind of rolled out, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm content with that.
That's good. It's funny, like I've had so many times where I was like, man, if I just made like $1,000 a week, I'd be fine. I'd be so happy. And then, you know, or whatever, any amount or whatever, and then you get there and you're like, man, 2,000 a week would be pretty cool. You know, like it's like you have more than you have what you once wish you had, but you feel the same. You know, like I wouldn't be surprised if once you are just making a living purely off of content and a decent one, you feel the same that you feel now, but just about whatever the next thing is. And like, my point is, like, that's okay. You know, like don't be like, fuck, you know, I was supposed to be satisfied now, and I'm still not. Like, you just kind of never are, you know. Like Steve-O.
I mean, you never arrive.
Steve told me like it's a Buddhist thing, but like craving is the human condition. We crave.
Yeah.
We just crave. Whatever we don't have, we crave it. So like the thing you're craving, you think that'll take away the craving, but you'll just crave something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, your
it's
goals sounded quite healthy. I mean, you're a young guy, so I think it's kind of cool, and that you have not some long wish list of things to, like the car, you know. It's good that you just want to provide for yourself and have some security and flexibility with that. I think that's a good goal.
You're right. Still like, what am I saying? Like I'm
I'm
Buddhist or something. Who am I, Dr. Drew? All of a sudden, just not
it makes sense.
Or something.
It's just a human thing. Like I feel like that's just.
I think it's just a human.
It is, but it's good that I feel like you've got a leg up. You're doing good. Like that's a good goal.
Yeah, dude. 23. Like that's great. How old is like Zach and Vinny? Are they a little older?
I actually don't know. I was just talking to Colton about that in the car, that I actually have no idea how old Zach is.
Or like groupies or?
Yeah, I don't know about, I feel like they may have a couple years on me. They couldn't be that much older.
Yeah.
I know that one of Zach's buddies, Kyler, I asked him today, and he was 26, so he's got like 3 years on me. But like I said, though, the 20s are all kind of the same thing. I feel like everybody's just trying to figure it out. That's how it feels for me. So
we're in our 30s. I
thought that was what the 20s were about too, and then then you're still trying to figure it out in your 30s.
I mean progress
looks
does
like
happen.
you guys kind of have it figured out a little bit.
You know what? We have an awesome house and but we want more. We're like, we want to own the house.
Now we want to own a house. It's like, I have a dream job, but now I want no job. Like, I want to work 1 day a week instead of 3, like
it's one of those things.
It's kind of, but I guess.
So is the human condition.
It's the human condition, I guess. But we're having a good time the whole time.
As long as you're happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're still living in Toronto? Like, are there any plans to come to LA or anything like that? Or
well, here's a funny story. Okay, so in 2020, I quit my 9 to 5. I was like a shipper and receiver, and because I had come out to LA a couple times, and I was like, I'm not a huge fan of the place, but I know it's where I need to be to work, and so it was like November of 2019. I just got home from LA. I was like, you can't do LA in like a week or two. Like, it just doesn't work trying to fit in all the work that you're trying to get done. So I was like, you know what? Early 2020, I'm going to quit. I'm going to save up enough. I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to drive out to LA with my car. So that if I just have a car there, I don't really have to worry about money too much. I'm cool to sleep in my sedan. Like, I don't, So at the time, I had 2 buddies that I was working with, and we all drove out in March of 2020, and we ended up getting to LA, and all 3 of us slept in that sedan for like a week or so, and then we were like, let's go to we couldn't really figure out. COVID was kind of around, but it wasn't like in full force where stuff was being shut down, but people were still kind of like worried about like going out, and so I was like, well, we got nothing going on. Let's go to a Los Angeles Kings game. So we went to a Kings game, and while I was there, and this is only like 5-6 days of being in LA, and we're there, and I'm on my phone, and I'm just seeing. This person got COVID, this person got COVID, this person. And by the time we had walked out of that stadium, LA was in a state of emergency and shutting down.
Wow.
And so, my dad's calling me, my mom's calling me, and they're all like, you got to come home because the prime minister is going to shut the border. And if you're stuck over there, do you have the funds to live out there for God knows how long?
Yeah.
And I'm telling them, I'm like, it's just one of the H1N1 things, whatever. It's going to be gone in a couple of weeks. Let's just wait it out. So we got an Airbnb because we couldn't be staying in a car while people are, while the police are basically saying you can't be on the streets or whatever it was. I don't know. It was probably more serious it was probably less serious than what I'm making it out to be, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And so we got an Airbnb for a week, and by, at the end of that week, we were like, what are we going to do? We have to go home. So I was fortunate enough to know a family friend out here. It was like one of my mom's friend, I guess, that she worked with. And she said, you can keep the car in our driveway and you can just fly home, because we drove all the way out there. I was like, maybe this only happens for 4 to 5 months and I can come back and I have my car here and not have to do the drive all over again.
Oh, yeah. Because that's a healthy drive.
Your predictions were pretty off, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they were very off.
I know where this story's going.
What's that drive, like 40 hours or something?
Yeah, it was like 5 days or something.
Yeah.
It's not like terrible,
how could
but
you have known? It was a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon.
It was just like, everything happens for a reason, but so we fly home, I get home, and I'm like, fuck, like, are you kidding me? Like, I not only did I just waste basically all my saving, or, for the flight, everything, now I'm like back home without my car. So, long story short, 2 years passes.
Yeah. Still haven't got your car? Is your car here?
Yeah, it's actually outside.
Oh, wow.
We come back, and the family friend that I had left it at, she was super nice to put a new battery in, or have someone put a new battery in and do the oil change.
Oh, wow.
And it's running. I don't know.
Wow.
So you just got it when you showed up for this current trip. This is your return to LA. You finally made it back.
This is my return. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So to answer your question where you said, do you ever plan on moving out here? I did plan at one point. I had the plan, and then it got disrupted, and now I'm kind of in the mix of things. Right now, this is just going to be a trip because I actually have my girlfriend flying out to BC, because I'm going to go from here back to BC, and we're going to do like a little vacation, whatever, a couple stuff out there.
Cool.
And then, I don't know, I'll figure it out from there. He's from the island, so I'll probably be spending a lot of time on the island.
Cool. That's Vancouver Island?
Vancouver Island, because this is basically my only team right here for the most part, and it's kind of hard to film myself. So
are you making a living off of your videos?
No. I have a few little side things. I've been dabbling into the crypto and NFT space, and it's been a little successful for me here and there. So that's kind of what I'm doing for money-wise. I don't really make anything doing content. Unfortunately, even when I had the TikTok, in Canada, you don't get paid for like any of the views or anything. Like, you just don't make any money. The only way you make money is off like a third party brand.
Right.
And I don't get much of those because of the type of content I make.
I would imagine your YouTube AdSense is also pretty minuscule.
It's nothing. It's like $300 a year or something like that.
Because if you're making like kids content, a million brands can advertise. But if you're kicking yourself in the shin,
niche market.
It's niche. It's very niche. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough that way, like to make it doing what I'm doing. So that's why even when I told you guys I need to find like a balance where I have like longevity and I can work with brands and I can make money, but then also do what I want. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to, like, it's going to take trial and error, I feel like, to find that balance and find that formula that people enjoy as well. And it kind of works for me.
I have faith in you, dude. I mean, you seem like a guy who just does it. Like, let's just do it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I think that's the right way to be. You're not spending too much time. I mean, while you're thinking about it, you're taking steps towards it.
Yeah.
And you're just
I appreciate
like an
that.
active guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems, I feel like intimidating sometimes to get from point A to B, but like just, one thing after another keeps happening, one job transitions to the next and you kind of get there as you go.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that so November of the year, 2021, I don't even know what year it is anymore,
I know, it's hard to I feel that. I've just been doing taxes. I'm like, when did I have that job? Where am I?
Yeah, I don't even know what day it is today. Yeah. It's crazy.
I think it's a Thursday.
Steve texted me back, by the way. He's
what did he
satisfied.
Say?
He said, yes, all caps, 3 exclamation points. Thank you, 3 exclamation points.
Sweet.
Good guy.
Let's give him a thumbs up. Okay, sorry.
I wanted to ask too about like how frustrating is it when they shut down your accounts? Because that would be pretty freaking heartbreaking to just have such a labor of love just taken away so quickly.
And they delete
like no
them,
wonder you made that Big Brother comment earlier because that is like, damn, freedom of speech under attack.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, especially with TikTok, I hate to be that guy that gets salty or whatever and not jealous, but it's like there's no right or wrong like written somewhere. Like there's literally like pedophiles on the app, and there's little girls like dressed half naked, like but then me dressing up in makeup and hitting my shin with like a scooter or something, it gets deleted. It feels kind of unfair.
Was that what did you in the scooter mime video?
I don't think it was that, but it was just a mixture of all the mime videos kind of. And like even when I got the warnings, I was like, okay, I can't do this, can't do that. And then it got to a point where just like anything mime related was being deleted. And I was like, well, like what am I supposed to do? Because I kind of based my TikTok brand around the whole mime thing. That's what kind of worked for me there. Mm-hmm. If something's working, why kind of stop? So that's what I was doing over on TikTok. And then I'm actively sitting there and I'm telling people, I'm like, I can't post this stuff anymore. You guys have to go over to my Instagram. I cannot post this. Of course, people don't really no one has time for that. We're in a place in social media where our attention span is so little that no one sits there and goes, oh, okay. They just kind of scroll to the next one, right? Yeah. So it didn't work out too well for me to transfer them over to my Instagram. I don't know. It sucks. It's kind of heartbreaking because you sit there and you work on it for so long. And it just goes like that. Yeah. But for the YouTube was really tough. When my YouTube got deleted, and the funny part about that is it was literally the week before we drove out to LA. So I didn't have a YouTube the whole time I'm in LA. It's like everything, my TikTok got deleted 2 weeks ago. So it's 2 weeks before LA. Mm-hmm. It just, when it rains, it pours kind of with that stuff. So
you got to stop coming to LA, dude.
Fuck LA,
it destroys your whole...
It grows on you, I'll admit.
I hope, because it's been terrible luck so far.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is hard times. You know what? It has a bad habit of testing you. I think especially at the beginning. That's what I've noticed.
That was Christine's experience.
That was my experience.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Even just being here the past couple of days, we've had of course I picked the weekend to leave is Super Bowl weekend, and I didn't want to book an Airbnb before we got here because of the COVID testing. I didn't want to pay for it. And then if COVID, we tested positive, I didn't want to lose that money.
Yeah. So
I was like, oh, who cares? We'll get there and there's tons of Airbnbs. It's LA.
Right.
I get here, there's fucking nothing. Okay. It's like $4,000 for like a night. I'm like, so, we're paying like $600 or $400 for the shitty hotel room. We're actively trying to get an Airbnb. We book an Airbnb. It ends up not being where it said it was in this like sketchy area. So we're like actively trying to get the refund, And then my bank is like saying, "Oh, this is fraud for the." It's like, oh my god, one thing after another. So this is the first day where me and Colton are kind of like, it's felt good to like, we got out of the hotel. We're gonna go to Vegas right from here.
Cool.
Because there's not as many hotels are available there. We're gonna watch the UFC fights.
You're driving to
there.
Vegas tonight.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Wow. No wonder you got coffee.
Yeah. He's been driving me around everywhere because I refuse to drive in LA because I'm like anxiety driven when it comes to that. So I'm gonna drive all the way to Vegas.
Yeah. I can like only drive in LA now. I love driving in LA.
Oh,
when I go somewhere else, I'm like, can we like get this moving? You know, because like in LA, even when there's traffic and you're like this close to people, like we still are going like
70 miles an hour. It's always moving very quickly.
Yeah,
it's like
really
nerve-wracking.
Like, right there.
It takes some getting used to for sure.
I've gotten pretty used to it. I'm definitely part of the problem, not the solution around here.
I'm usually used to it.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one's made like and I'm sure people have tried, but nothing has stuck like anything goes, like go ahead, do stunts at least. Like, you know, anything goes like physically.
Yeah.
Kind of a platform, you know, like because there's so many of you, and you guys.
Yeah.
You would think that you would have to have a policy in place in advance that you're violating. Because you're just going to pop up warnings and then it's like, I guess there should be a contract or something. Like it should be outlined.
I mean, I understand where like YouTube is coming from. You know, like they're a giant platform with a bajillion hours of content being uploaded every day. They can't like do the nuances of every specific thing that's going to be okay or not okay in what situation and why. Like they have to make broad strokes. And when they make a change, they do a big broad stroke and it fucks over like the Dude Sins or like Jake. And then they go in and tweak those broad strokes and then, something else is wrong. And then big broad stroke again. And then kind of like tweak it as it goes. And it's like, that's at least how it always felt for me. Like,
yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. What choice do they have in some way? Like I'm not like, they're just trying to suppress us. Like they're just trying to make money. And like, this is the easiest way that they figured that they can do this, you know? Like,
yeah. And you're totally right. And when this happens and I'm sitting there and I'm complaining or I'm like upset, like even on the podcast, I do try to look at it from that point of view where it's like, well, it's like this huge company. Like what do you expect? But when it like, it's YouTube and then Instagram and then Snapchat and then TikTok and they're all kind of doing it to me. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, can I have like, can one of these work?
Yeah.
Because like all of them, like even Snapchat, it's like apparently they have guidelines now. I had a story taken down because I showed a pellet gun or something. It's like, when did I thought girls were using that for their work.
Snapchat used to be like porn.
Yeah.
You could post straight up porn on Snapchat.
It's a very polite way to say it.
Twitter is still pretty wild with like you can watch porn on Twitter.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
That's not why I was even saying but that's funny.
But yeah, like it's weird. I'm just surprised nothing has really stuck. It's almost like if Jackass or like if Steve or if Knoxville did like here's a platform I made. And like if you do our kind of shit, like boom, go for it. He could even curate it. He could be like, you're good, you're not good. Like, but once you're in, you're free to go.
We don't need another QAnon. Let me tell you that. We don't need another little Stevenon. That maybe we do. That would be pretty fun.
Stevenon would be interesting.
You gotta talk to him. You're the man for that.
I'll talk to him. It's really I gotta talk to Scott Randolph.
I mean, he's kind of dealt with similar issues to this, right? Which is why he released his comedy special, like behind the paywall and all that. Cause he
just launched Steve-O Raw, which is like a paid subscription based where you get like raw content, unblurred content, and all of his YouTube videos that are
unblurred. So for the real fans,
dicks out.
Yeah,
but also
how
like
you watch it.
All his YouTube video, yeah, exactly. What I have to see. You have to see what I have to see. But all of his YouTube videos that are age restricted, we set them to private, and now they're on this like Subify page.
See, when Steve-O released
Hacks.
I guess it was a comedy special, but it had the stunts in it.
Gnarly, I think.
Yeah, gnarly. When he released that was like something that I like. That's the way to do it. But it's tough when you're not an established kind of like because Steve-O is like just an established like he's one of the pioneers of who created this kind of genre. So it works. People buy it. People will watch it. But like that's why people will be commenting. They're like, you're always complaining. Why don't you just do a Patreon? Why don't you just do an OnlyFans? Like like for that. And that's true. but I don't feel like I have that ground, or I don't have that level of like a fan base. Like I have my little little fan base, core fan base that I'm like super grateful for. Mm-hmm. But I just don't feel like I have that brand yet where I can do that.
How many people you think would pay you $1 a month to watch your shit?
That's a good question. I've never $1. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you got your Instagram following is like 240,000 or something.
Yeah, something like 213.
Maybe if 5,000 people were willing to give you a buck a month.
Yeah, that's true.
It's 5,000 a month. That's something, and then you grow from there. You know, I was thinking of like the future of this podcast. We have our sponsor, Hexa Coffee. Okay. By the way, check it out, hexacoffee.com. Promo code ELK. A good friend of ours makes this coffee, and we do the ad reads and we love it. But it's like, if this grows and stuff, like doing ad reads of like getting other sponsors and like with working with Steve on the Wild Ride podcast, like so much effort goes into ad reads. Like, what if it was just it's $1 a month, and if you have like some podcasts have like 400,000 monthly listeners or weekly listeners, like $400,000 a month. That's pretty good, you know.
Tip your podcaster.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like maybe it'll head that way, especially as like it's so much easier to pay somebody nowadays. It used to be like, got to pull up my credit card, I got to type in the number, but now it's just like,
it's Apple like Pay. So common. Everybody's like Venmo me, Cash App me. You can accidentally
do it, you know, like. So I don't know. Maybe the exact format is not there yet, but I feel like we're heading towards something where it's like there'd be the Jake Hillhouse app. You download the app, it's $1 a month, and that's where everything Jake Hillhouse is, or Elk Lodge, or Colton, or whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I feel like the guidelines of these platforms are getting worse, and like the cancel culture, whatever, all that stuff, but I keep hearing all this talk about Web3 and how it's going to be more decentralized. I don't know
what's Web3. I've never heard of that. It's
like the new version of the internet. I don't know much about it. I have to look into it, so I'm not going to speak on something that I know nothing about. But everybody's saying how it's going to be more decentralized, and that the creators are going to make like more of the rules in these platforms. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of talk about that, so hopefully that comes.
Sounds matrixy. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
that's intriguing. The idea alone, you know, is it? I think that's kind of the intention of how the OG internet started too. But it obviously became sort of privatized pretty quickly in such a
and I think
serious way. Like these corporations control a lot of policy and like there's a lot of power there now.
The richest things ever to exist.
Yeah.
But I think there's always going to be an ebb and flow. Like the internet was like free, yeah, we're crazy, it's the internet, and then like controlled. And then this Web3, whatever that is going to come and we're free. And then like 20 years later, like we're like, what the fuck? Like, get off my back with all these rules and shit. And then Web4 is going to come out and we're free. And and you know, like I think there's just always going to be this weird, you know, ebb and flow.
I hope. That'd be great.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, like when radio came out, you could say anything you want, you know?
That's true.
And then you have the FCC, and then they controlled it, and then, you know, whatever. I don't know.
First comes the fun. I think that's kind of how then it's the people ruin the fun.
So we're just in a controlled phase, but that's going to, like, get so tight that, like, Web3 or whatever the fuck the next thing is.
It's got to piss off enough people that...
Exactly, that enough people go, like, fuck this, and then... they're out, you know, I don't know.
I feel like even with the cancel culture, it was like such a thing for like the past 4 years. But you see more and more of people being like, shut up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like people are just fed up. Like even with the Joe Rogan stuff, like people are just like, you know what? Like, you know, shit happens, whatever. Move on.
For sure.
And that's great to see that people are starting to like kind of come full circle and move in that direction.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people get worried, especially with like cancel culture. It's like, it's only gonna, the way it's going, it will just continue forever that way. So there's some censorship growing. That means like in 20 years, censorship is going to be 20 years worse, but it's actually going to go like that and then get worse and then go up and then go down. And, you know, not that like, you know, people should be dicks or like whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, censorship doesn't necessarily translate to cancel culture.
Well, in some ways. I mean, it is sometimes censoring. You know, censoring what people say.
It's not censoring. It's holding them accountable for what they've said. You're not saying you don't have the right to say that. They're just saying you can say that, but now we're paying attention, so here are the ramifications. It's not like taking away the right to say it. They're just pointing out and telling somebody else that they don't like what that person said. It's like what the human like need to like. If you go to a place you like, you're likely to recommend it to like 2 or 3 people. But if you go to a place you dislike, you're more likely to tell like 8 people about it. It's just kind of the way the mind latches onto things.
What's that called?
It's part of like kind of the negativity bias, the way the human.
I've never heard of that, but that is interesting because that's 100% true. Like, I'll tell people about how shitty my day was, but I won't go there and tell them how great my day was for the most part, you know?
Yeah, bad reviews go far. These
That's
are kind
true.
of this bad reviews people are getting. Joe Rogan's getting a lot of bad reviews right now.
That's true. Yeah, he might have been a bad example for what I was trying to say.
It is a good example. It's an interesting one, you know?
Yeah, it is
It's
interesting.
just pretty, and I mean, and it's interesting to see the choices of like Neil Young, right? Neil Young, Neil Diamond.
Neil Young. No, Neil Young.
Neil, you know, pulling his stuff off Spotify. It's like interesting to see what actions people can take in retaliation to like them to Spotify not responding to the situation in the way they want them to. Like,
Is that what happened? Spotify pulled...
no,
they didn't
Spotify is not pulling Joe Rogan's account,
Well, they-
which is upsetting a lot of people.
They
And
paid him
Neil
like
Young.
$130 million. Like,
Exactly.
What were they going to do?
But I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that
Yeah.
there's like such a discouraging, there's something truly discouraging about that,
True.
you know, this human, like, we're basically saying that's not a good way to behave collectively as a society. That's what's the pushback against Joe Rogan, at least a big part of it.
But
and
behave
Spotify's
how?
not willing to, like, his language.
But that it was like a one. It's like a one time or a few times drudged up from the past. I think what Neil Young left was not because Joe Rogan said the N word in the past. It was because Joe Rogan had like a anti-vax scientist on his show.
Yeah, I think it's probably both. I think one situation a lot of people could look away from, and now there's like a second situation. But
I mean, when one thing
yeah,
comes
it's
out...
interesting. I don't know.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
When one thing comes out, then another... I don't know.
Yeah, it starts to all unravel. It's like how many
I don't
times
know.
you
I'm
look
not-
away.
I'm not mad at
I know
Joe
you're.
Rogan.
I know
I
you're
like
a Joe
Joe
Rogan
Rogan.
fan.
Well, I mean,
I put on my story, and I said, if you're mad at Joe Rogan, you're a moron. And I more or less put that on just to piss people off.
Fair.
But I kind of believe it too, in the sense that, I mean, everything nowadays, people have to make it political or a side thing. There's no debate or anything. And I think the thing about Joe Rogan that I liked was that he's just the most unbiased, powerful person on the internet. And that's what I liked about him. I didn't know about the Neil Young thing, but I didn't know that so he had left because he had an anti-vaxxer up on the podcast. I find
Joe
that
Rogan-
bullshit.
Joe Rogan had there was
A
like
history.
two podcasts that were notable and upsetting people.
Okay.
And they were with these two scientists that like are published scientists who had concerns about the vaccine. One of them had like helped create the technology for the mRNA vaccine, and he has
Okay.
concerns about the mRNA vaccine. So Joe Rogan had him on to talk.
Okay.
Now, for me, I feel like I kind of want to hear what that guy has to say.
Why
Maybe
not?
I disagree with it. Maybe, you know, and I don't agree with everything Joe Rogan has ever said at all, or everything people have said on Rogan. I like the show. I know I'm going to get, you know, certain opinions. If I say, like, I heard this on Rogan, so take it with a grain of salt, you know, like I say that a lot, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
I heard it on Joe Rogan, so, you know, but
No, I mean,
I, you know,
good enough for me. I get it. But
I don't think you have to be correct and right and, you know, only host guests that are right all the time, or just have like
mean-
an opinion. Maybe the mRNA guy is right. Maybe we learn in the future that that guy was totally right. We don't know yet, you know? So I don't know. It's just a weird, like, that kind of is censorship, you know? It's not the government censoring it. And you're right. Neil Young has every
Society.
right to say, I'm not cool with
it's
that.
a filter
so
that
I'm going to do
society's
this.
putting
Or
on.
society goes, hey, you can't, we don't like that you talk like that. So the consequence is we're out, you know?
Wouldn't it be censorship if Spotify did pull it off? Wouldn't that be censorship in a
But
way?
But they're a company. They can, you know, like,
yeah,
they
that
can
I
do whatever
think
they want
is
with their
that
platform.
to me is censorship. Whereas you know you could boycott the services and refuse to listen to Joe Rogan and not
Mm-hmm.
give him $1 a month because you don't support what he says. I think that is, to me, always enough. Like how you decide you want to act in that situation.
The funny thing is, I bet this
But-
made Joe Rogan bigger than ever.
Yeah.
Even though he's
well,
already the
I think
biggest.
he has now a ton of people kind of like going to battle for him, like going out to bat or whatever, just ready to just throw down in his defense, which is probably, like you said, actually just fueling them.
I mean, controversy is like the main way to run the internet right now.
Yeah.
People's careers are built off controversy nowadays, so I wouldn't be surprised if his bank account was looking a little
fluffier than usual.
Yeah, or I mean, he's probably getting more listens than normal on Spotify.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like also with him saying the N-word,
might leave.
It's not cool to say the N-word. But I've listened to enough of that man talk that I know he's not a racist guy. Mm-hmm. Perhaps he has said the N-word, which is an inappropriate and rude thing to say. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty damn confident he's not a racist person. I don't think he thinks the color of your skin affects your value as a human. I'm almost certain.
Some of the clips I saw just didn't really fully support that, in my opinion.
That's fine, but what about the 100 million other hours that he's put out, where I don't know, I've been listening to him for 10 years. I think I would be I would know if he was racist, or he would say shit like that more often. It's pretty apparent to me that he's not a racist person.
Yeah.
His whole show is not about
That's good. I would hope you wouldn't listen to something like that.
Yeah, no, I would not.
I don't listen to him enough to actually have a truly stronger opinion about it.
Yeah, and it's weird if you take a soundbite.
But I will say, it is definitely one of the liberal causes on the platform right now. It's a hot ticket issue.
It's a hot ticket issue. People are really trying to bring him down, And people get mad at him too that he has conservatives on his show.
Because you mentioned something you were if it's censorship, if it's right or wrong, or what did you said? Something?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think you were right. You were that's not necessarily censorship, and you were right when you said that I was wrong.
Well, I think censorship.
I've been meaning to throw that out. I think you were right. Maybe we because what is censorship? Is it the government saying you can't say something?
I think it's just not being allowed to have an opinion. I think when, regardless of your views on, I hate, I'm not even into politics or anything, but regardless on your views of Donald Trump, him being taken off Twitter, that in my eyes is censorship. Regardless, he tweets his opinion, he says what he says, whatever, but that's his opinion. Twitter doesn't have a guideline where you can't tweet your opinion. It's freedom of speech.
I know, it is so interesting.
So I feel like that is 100% censorship, where he is not allowed to have a Twitter account.
Well,
that's
Twitter censored him. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Mm-hmm. But Twitter is also a private company, and this is where the debate is is the internet a utility, or is social media a utility that we have a right to use? In which case, our
or is it
rights,
a privilege?
Or is it just a private company where they can make whatever rules they want? They can say no more Jews if they want.
And when does fake news come? When do you have to be held accountable? Because the vaccine, I think, is what really is really putting such a stress on this issue.
It's dividing everybody too.
It's dividing people, and so if you're saying anything that goes against the agenda of getting everybody on board, that's what was triggering everybody.
Fair enough.
And so
but
it's interesting though, because
but it's
I
weird.
don't know. Can you say everything that's you want to say if it's gonna hurt other people and gonna?
But people need to just learn. If you hear someone say something, it's not necessarily
they've
true.
That they don't. People have proven that they can't filter out.
But that's not
truth versus.
That's not up
fiction.
to me. Okay. If you look at with the vaccine and with COVID.
Yeah.
At first, when COVID first hit, to say this came from a lab in China. If you say that on social media, you were getting in trouble on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Because it had a cause and effect. Because
there
was statistically.
But now it's proving to be true, and now it's pretty accepted. And now you can say it because we've learned it's probably true. So just because someone is saying, for example, which I don't know if the mRNA vaccines are good or not, but if someone's saying, I think they're bad. We don't know. Maybe that's true, And why are we saying you can't even say that you, a scientist, think it's bad? Why not? If you think it's bad, say it's bad. If you think it's good, say it's good. And let's fucking prove each other wrong then. Don't just say you can't say that. Prove them wrong. Science.
The science is in. The numbers are in.
But on what? On what's gonna?
On vaccine safety.
10 years from now, we don't know what we're going to go through 10 years from now, And And like mRNA vaccines they're not like normal vaccines. It's a different kind of vaccine. I don't know if I got it, I'm not too worried about it. But if a scientist has an opinion that like it's not good, shouldn't they be allowed to say, I don't think it's good?
I do feel that way, but I also, I don't know. It's kind of a slippery slope. Like I don't think I could understand why there's impacts. Like words have, like the maybe it was just even the tone of the way people were blaming this lab in Wuhan, but it created like a domino effect, and statistically, like hate crimes towards Asian communities were skyrocketing all over this country.
Those people are fucking idiots.
Well,
that's
yeah.
If you hear this came from China. So now if I see a Chinese guy, I'm going to push him.
The problem is because how do you separate? Like, it's just hard to separate the origins from, like, the origins of those actions from those comments, especially when you get to things like the insurrection or the tweets that Trump sent. Like, it's hard to just say that they're just words and just ideas or just tweets at a certain point, because they do come out of the tweet and create, like, actual kinetic energy, like people actually rallying around these ideas.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. I don't know. I don't know.
And
how
it gets
I feel
violent
about it.
now. Like, if there's like protests, and people are getting
there's
injured.
So many Canadian protests. What's up with the border, man?
Yeah, I have no idea what.
What are you guys doing?
Do you know about this?
No.
Justin Trudeau has. I can't even explain, because I'm not going to sit here and like talk on something that I don't know anything about, but I just know that
I do it all the time. You're fine.
Welcome to the Outlaws podcast.
That's what this
We're like
is all
Joe
about.
Rogan. We just say whatever.
It's true. That's the most ironic part of this, of my argument. But
yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of bullshit going on with Justin Trudeau, and there's like a ton of protests to get him out of office. You know the deal.
Well, so is it that it's from what I've heard, and I don't even watch the news honestly, but it's like the COVID restrictions in Canada have been extremely strict. And unfairly strict and without logic, or right?
They don't know what they're doing. That's what it feels. That's what it's coming across, and that's why people are pissed off. Is that it feels like they don't know what they're doing. Their storylines, everything is not matching up. They switch up, like they switch up all the time. Like they said one thing one week, and now it's like this the next week. Like just the fact that I was told if I'm double vaxxed, I can cross the border. That's it. Now they're trying to put in place the booster shot. You need a COVID test this many hours before. It's like. And then they'll go back. We've gone in and out of lockdown, at least in Ontario, like where I'm from, Toronto. I don't know, like, no exaggeration, probably close to like 10 to 11 times in the past 2 years.
And what does lockdown look like?
It's like, so that's the thing. There's different types of lockdown. There's like this tier. Yeah, there's curfews. So like grocery stores being closed. I don't know. There's like different types of lockdowns. But like at least 5 or 6 of those where you could not leave your house unless it was essential. And it's really tough because like,
because you gotta leave your house.
Well, eventually, like you have to ask, like, what's more important? Or like, there's, I don't know. It's like I hate to be that guy, but it's like, what is more important? Like the mental health, like all of that stuff. It's like at some point, it's like you gotta find something here. It's not working.
It is hard. It's you fall on that argument a lot of like when does the.
I got double vaxxed because I knew I would need it to travel, and now you're telling me that I need to do other complications to travel. If I would have known that, I almost wouldn't have. I would have asked more questions. I wish I would have opened my mind a little more before getting vaxxed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because what I got vaxxed for doesn't really help.
Yeah.
Like people that aren't vaxxed are able to do things that people that are vaxxed. You know what I mean? Like there's no like
not everywhere though.
Okay, not everywhere. Yeah, but it just like I have my buddy. He's super against getting vaxxed. And I had the upper hand at one point when I can travel. I can go work. I can go to the States. But now...
The motivation was there.
Yeah, and now it's... I also can't go to the States without certain other complications. So it's like... there's like a difference.
I feel like
I don't know,
inconsistency has been the name of the game over here as well. I think it's been very clear that nobody knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate to myself, I bet it's... it could be... kind of like YouTube, Oh, we got this disease. Okay. Broad stroke. Mm-hmm. Everybody stay inside. That's easier. It's hard to say, you got to get a vaccine because you have comorbidities. You had it in October, so you probably don't need the vaccine. You can still travel. You, are young and healthy, so you're okay. You like it's just broad strokes. Like it's easier. It's it's the governments are faced with a pretty fucking tough job to figure this out and do it right in a way that in 20 years they're not idiots. Like you can't win. Plus, no matter what I do, half the people are gonna hate it because that's just the world right now, which is a fucking mess. But that's just kind of what it is. So yeah, shit has been dumb, backwards a lot.
Well, yeah, I think what you said there is there's always going to be 50% that hate you. You're never going to make everybody happy. But with Canada, I think 75-80% of the people want Justin Trudeau out. Wow. Like, it's not like you see definitely more people. Like, even my parents, they voted for him. They're like, what? Like, they're like, fuck this, Yeah.
Okay, $1 million question. Did you actually send him a dick pic?
I didn't.
Oh, right, your TMZ thing or something.
That was a pretty gnarly. It was a harsh headline. Did you make the headline?
But it's almost believable because TMZ, like, they'll make anything their title, right? They're just like, fuck it, throw it up. So
TMZ is actually very good at checking their facts.
No, yeah.
TMZ never gets it wrong.
That's true.
They're there early,
so
too.
So if that really was on TMZ, it would have been the truth.
People are always giving them flack, but TMZ,
TMZ does not get it wrong.
That's why people, I think that's
checked as fuck.
I think that's why people believed it, too.
Yeah, well done. It looked legit.
I was fooled.
Yeah, we were just, how did that come about? We were,
I took a photo of you outside of the
car, and it looked like a paparazzi photo, and then we're like, we should
fucking... Your hands up
right.
I was like, oh, what's a trending topic right now? Justin Trudeau. I sent him a dick pic.
It's brilliant. Yeah, man, it's a tough thing. But I'm so optimistic about like ebb and flow. Like we're in such a weird the fact that
that's a good trait to have.
Half the people are disagreeing. Like that whole thing, I think we'll go back eventually to a way where we are more in the center, and then we'll go back all out to the sides, and we'll come back to the center. We'll go out to the sides, like. It's all because it's done this. It's done this forever. Like, look at I don't know. In the 50s, if you were like, I like communism, like, canceled. Mm-hmm. Your life is over. You're fired from your job. You're not. If you're an actor, you're never going to act again. Like, you're canceled because you said, I like communism. But now I can say that, and so people, like, it feels like all the things that are. It did kind of have a
comeback, didn't it? No.
What, communism?
Commune living, yeah, no.
What, the fear of communism or just communism in general?
No, just general acceptance.
Yeah, now people are kind of like more it's like hip to be pro-communist, which I think communism is dumb, but like, shit. I'm just saying,
communism
it has been, there has been censorship or whatever. Cancel culture has existed in the past. It's exacerbated right now because of social media and the way things go, but It has been around. The Beatles got canceled for saying they're bigger than Jesus. People were burning Beatles albums. Like, people, you could have always gotten canceled.
Yeah, popular culture. I mean, people hold on to their negative emotions. It's so weird how we can, hate celebrities or hate people we don't know so much. Like, do you ever feel that? Is there any, a true aversion to people you don't know? Like, that isn't a crazy thing that you could have such a visceral reaction to somebody you don't know.
It's also just as crazy to love Zendaya or whatever. Like
Zendaya.
I don't know Zendaya.
It's not crazy to love Zendaya.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why? Have you ever met her? She might be awful.
Do you watch that show?
I do, and I've seen her.
My girlfriend doesn't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's loving it. I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
I'm a few episodes behind, but I was watching last night. It's really well done. It's a great show.
That's what my girlfriend is. She's like, oh, Zendaya's the best. She's the best. She's such a good actor.
Like, that's what people say.
I've seen her in Spider-Man.
I believe it. She's good in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She was a Disney star, I think. I don't remember what was that show called? With Bella Thorne.
The Witches of Waverly? No,
that's Selena. It's Bella Thorne
show.
And Zendaya. It was something like Two Step or Get Your Step On. I don't remember. It was like a dancing one, but I used to watch it when I was younger.
This is where our generational gap is showing.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I grew up on
I grew up a Xenon girl.
Jet Jackson. The famous Jet Jackson on Disney.
What the hell is that?
I don't
never watched that one.
Oh, well, maybe I'm older than you. I don't know.
You would know 8 Simple Rules, right?
Yeah, I know that one.
Yes, 8 Simple Rules.
That was kind of like...
Yes, I know it.
Yes, I'm aware.
Pass.
That was like kind of one that was probably your generation, and then kind of a little bit my generation leaving. I remember seeing that when I was like 8 or something.
That's just like a sitcom on like NBC or something, right?
No, it
I
was
never
on
got into
Family.
that one.
I think it was on Family Channel.
Like ABC Family? What's Family?
Family.
This is some Canadian shit.
Is it?
Family? We don't have a channel called
It's like
Family.
it's
No, I
called
don't-
Disney Family Channel.
ABC
Oh.
Family.
So yeah.
ABC Family.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Or the
maybe it's-
Disney Channel, maybe.
Or,
Okay. Well, you guys have Wizards of Waverly
Yeah,
Place
yeah,
and
we
Hannah
have that.
Montana and
Uh-huh.
Sweet Life.
Yes.
Of
Sure,
Zack and
Zack
Cody.
and
But
Cody,
that
yeah.
is
Okay.
that feels like after
That's
our
Disney.
time. Did you watch Zach and Cody and Miley Cyrus? I feel like
No.
that was like what
that
kids
was young.
watched.
No,
when we
I
were in high
watched. This
school.
really dates me. I watched. What was it? Growing Pains. That had Leonardo DiCaprio as like
Yeah.
as
I've
like
never
a
seen that.
10-year-old actor. Like he was an incredible child actor. I think was that the show?
Growing Pains, yeah.
I feel like that one is a time.
And I think Christina
stamp.
Applegate was in that.
No, that was the that was something else.
That's All in the Family.
Yep.
Maybe. No.
No.
That
That
I don't
one-
know any of these.
Who knows? It's a dangerous game we're playing.
10 years
right
older
now.
than you, dude.
It's
You
a
know,
dangerous game.
well, man. Okay, so we fixed the world's problems. That's good.
Yeah.
We solved all that.
Step 1 or
Yeah.
step 2.
So what else is on the?
Say what you wanna
so you're
say.
going to Vegas.
Might get
Are you
canceled.
you're just gonna watch the UFC fights? You have tickets, or you're gonna watch it on TV?
No, I
But
was watching on
the
TV.
fight is in Vegas.
Yeah. No, it's actually in Houston, so
Oh,
it
cool.
has no correlation. But
It's just
I
a
don't
cool
know.
place
Vegas
to watch
is like
a UFC fight.
exactly.
Have you been to Vegas?
I went to Vegas actually when we drove the car out to LA that first time. We stopped in Vegas for a couple nights and had some fun. But yeah, so I've been to Vegas. It's fun.
That's cool.
It's nice.
It is. It's an
It's not
interesting
a place I would like to live, but
No. Yeah.
Like, 2
Never
days.
thought that either.
yeah,
2
2 days
days.
is max. Yeah.
I've gone. One time we drove there, like partied and drove home, like in the same night. Didn't
Who
even spend the
drove?
night. I think I did. I don't know.
Oh
I
God.
don't remember. No, I didn't actually. We were like shooting a documentary for some guy, and whoever was in charge drove. Supposedly, I forget. But so then, what's the plan after that? You go to Vegas for a few days, and then back to Canada.
No. So, well, I think the whole point of Vegas was 1, Colton's never been there, and for 2, just the crazy, shitty few days that we had. We're like, we can't get a place here really for cheap. Let's just get the fuck out of here and go to Vegas. Vegas is cool. We'll watch the fights there. And then,
And after the Super Bowl, you'll come back here.
yeah, we'll come back to like West Hollywood. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I'm. And then we'll get like an Airbnb for like 2 times cheaper, stay the week. I don't know. And then go from there. Like I said, I have to be in British Columbia, BC, by the 28th at the Kelowna airport to pick up my girlfriend. But other than that, I'm pretty free. But we're going to drive my car back, obviously. I might keep the car on the island. So we do have to leave at a decent date. I can't leave the 27th and just hope to be there on the 28th. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any plans.
What's the couple stuff? You said, quote, couple stuff. What does that look like? I'm curious. I've always wanted to go up to Vancouver, and
There's
Yeah,
a couple
seems
stuff.
so pretty up there. Couple stuff seems nice up there.
British Columbia is like definitely the nicest province that we have in Canada, just for like scenery. So I don't know, enjoy nature, go climb mountains and shit maybe.
Nice.
Hell
Are you
yeah.
a camper? Do you just sleep
So-
in the car? You mentioned, but
Well,
Pit-
for this one, she'll fly out and we'll get like an Airbnb. But in November of this year, it was beginning of October. So I bought a minivan in like May of 2021 and kind of turned it into like a little camper type
Cool.
thing because I don't know, I was looking for I stopped drinking or whatever, and I was like, I need a new hobby to go out and do something. So I did that, and I kept going up north or whatever. It's called Muskoka. I used to have a cottage up there, so I would go to the skate parks, sleep in my van, stay there for like a weekend or 2. And so I was like, oh, I want to like see the rest of Canada. I've been to the west coast of the States. I want to see the rest of Canada. So I just drove from Toronto to Vancouver. So across basically all of Canada. And that started like in October or whatever. And then my girlfriend actually flew out to meet me in Alberta, Banff, Alberta, which is a really beautiful
Yeah.
place with a lot of scenery.
beautiful, those
yeah.
lakes.
Oh yeah, I swam in Lake Louise, which is the really blue one. It was really cold, but yeah. So me and her did that in November or something, and then I was like, oh, we loved it. So I was like, we may as well do it again, right?
Where does she live?
She lives in just the suburbs of Toronto with
Okay,
me.
yeah.
I don't live downtown Toronto. I live in the suburbs, but yeah, she lives like 30 minutes away from me.
Nice.
Cool. Have you
Yeah.
been to Toronto?
No.
It's cool.
I've never been to Canada. Never been.
Canada's cool. I have family in
to the
BC,
north.
and then I've been to Toronto a few times.
But you were born here,
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Yeah. But like similar suburbs, not the city.
Yeah, I was born. It's called Town it's a town called Whitby. It's like the suburbs of Toronto. I've lived in this same house since I was like, I don't know, 8 months or whatever.
Cool.
So,
That's fun.
It's a cool little town. It's mainly for like retired people or just people like that are settling down and having a family. But it was cool to grow up. You have a cool skate park and stuff. So
That's dope.
yeah.
Do you have like stunts on the horizon? Like, is that how you work? That like, you know, we're gonna do like, are there kind of dream stunts you're trying to hit at some point, or?
That's definitely how I worked before. I think more or less now it's kind of coming up with stuff as I go. I feel like when I always hyped myself up in my head and planned this big stunt, I kind of set myself up for failure because I had certain ways that I pictured it in my head, and I like to over deliver and under promise. Is that the term?
Yes.
And I do that. That's how I do everything in life now because I hate when people overpromise something and then when they deliver, it just sucks, you know? So, no, I wouldn't say that I have like, but I do have a notebook where I have tons of little ideas that I add to and stuff like that. I like writing in like notebooks and stuff. So I have a bunch of those with a bunch of ideas. So if I got them all together, I probably could come up with like 3 big stunts combined. But yeah, I couldn't sit here and tell you, I don't think, any big dream stunt that I have in my head. I feel like that just comes naturally for me for the most part. I do a lot of my thinking when I'm taking a shit, so I could get back to you later maybe.
Call me when you're shitting. We'll
for sure.
we'll record it.
Yeah.
We'll cut it in.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. This was fucking cool. This is the first podcast we've done where we never met the guest before.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like,
I'm glad to be a first time.
Yeah, you are.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Gotta be.
It kind of feels that I don't know. Do you ever meet someone? It feels like you kind of knew them before. You were able to. I don't know. That's how
Yes.
I kind of felt coming in here.
This I
Yeah,
feel.
you
guys
don't
made it
feel
feel
like a
comfortable.
stranger. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Good.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to
Yeah,
hear
you don't
it.
feel like a stranger at all either.
I appreciate
and
it.
I've
And
seen
you-
you on footage and shit. And like I've heard about you through Steve, but not for Christine. So.
I was half
authentic.
expecting a mime to walk in the door. I didn't know how this was gonna go. I was like, is this gonna be the?
I write down
most-
everything that I would need to say and pass it over to you. There's no
That's
need
all
for the
we
mic.
get. I wasn't sure. I mean, the eyes say a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What's funny is that has Steve ever said anything? Has he said good things about me before?
No, never.
Yeah,
Only
I
bad.
figured.
No.
You know what's funny
Only
though is
bad,
because
terrible.
when I first met him, you know, Steve always. What's funny is that me and Scott, he's been great to me. He's always kept in touch with me. He's helped me even with like, you know, when I wanted to stop drinking and stuff. He's like, dude, you know, help me with certain things. So
Yeah.
Scott's been great. He's
Yeah.
he's the one that got me in touch with Steve-O. Awesome guy. In 2017, he showed Steve-O a video of me snorting pepper spray. And Steve-O sent a video back saying great job or whatever. And I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. And so I was like, you know, when I finally got to work with Steve-O, like that's just one thing that was like a goal. Like you go on my
Sure.
Facebook in 2017, I have a picture saying one day, and then, you know,
Epic.
it happened. But when it happened, it was like kind of on the spot, like show up to the hotel this day, bring a tattoo gun. And I feel like I was really nervous.
The tramp stamp tattoo.
The
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. But I feel like when I showed up, I was really nervous and I couldn't answer like some of the. I don't know. I wasn't myself in that setting, so I feel like, you know, when you meet someone for the first time, I think that's the most important. Like that's kind of what puts in their head. Maybe that's not true, but
No,
for me,
a little
sometimes,
bit, but also like, it's so normal to be like, oh, like, I don't know. When I'm around Tony Hawk, I'm a
Yeah,
mess.
I would be fucked too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even think he sees me, you know, like, cause I just recoil into the corner. I don't like make myself known. I just like, and then later at the end of the whatever, he's just like, all right, later guys. I'm like, bye Tony. And he's like, what? Oh, yeah, bye. Like, were you here the whole
Yeah.
time? You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm just so, you know, and so I think that's just kind of what happens. I think it's rare that you meet, at least for me, like maybe I'm just not good at like being cool in those situations. But
Yeah.
when you meet someone that you're kind of like look up to,
Yeah.
it's hard to walk away from that being like, nailed
Well,
that.
That's what I
was
mean.
not weird at all.
That's the thing is like I always pictured, you know, like there's certain people that like I have in my head and I'm like, fuck, like this. I know like if I could just get in the same room as them or something, I could really do something, you
Yeah.
know? And with that scenario, I walked out and I was so happy, but I was like, fuck, like he asked this and I said like, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
Wait,
And
so-
you overthink it.
This was for the pitching of the show.
No,
for the
no.
pilot.
Steve
What
did a
was-
YouTube video when he was getting really into tattooing. He did the Wendy on me, and like he was just going around giving tattoos as much as possible. And so when they're in Toronto, probably Scott reached out to you.
Scott reached out to me, yeah.
and was like, "Oh, we could do one with Jake."
separate from filming a similar idea to pitch.
This was kind of what led to wanting to do a TV show
Mm-hmm.
about tattooing.
So I think you made more of an impact than you realized.
Maybe, hopefully.
No, I think.
I think my tattoo is the best in it. I
Yeah.
think it was the funniest spot. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I could be biased.
It's hilarious. You very well could be.
Yeah.
No, there's no like. Before I came here, I was like, I gotta leave. I told Steve I worked today at Steve's. I was like, I gotta leave by like 5:30 because I'm having Jake Hillhouse on my podcast. And
Who?
No. He was like, oh, cool. Like, take a picture of the tramp stamp. I want to see it and see how it's looking.
Okay.
So there was no negative reaction.
That's good.
It's
that makes me feel better.
You're in, at least from what I can see, you're in good standing.
I'd say so. He knows
Or
who
you're
you are.
certainly
That's
not in
good-
negative standing. You know, like, and I mean, you know, with Steve, he's like so laser focused on his own
I know.
shit. Like, you know, you felt like you said something dumb. Like, he probably didn't even notice. He was just like, I got to nail this tattoo and like make a dope video. And like, you know, the shirt printer is going to call me later and I have a meeting with my agent and I got to call this and do that. Like, you know, his head is like in his world.
It's like dialed in. Yeah, I know
he's
that.
dialed in and he's laser focused. So
Fair enough. You're probably right.
yeah, I'm sure you're fine. Then probably same with Tony Hawk. He's not like, Paul is fucking weird when I'm around him. He's probably like, who? But hey, whatever.
It happens to the best of us.
But yeah, man. But yeah, this was fucking cool, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
I really
you're
appreciate
a brave
it,
soul
guys.
walking
Have a
in here
safe
to the
drive to
unknown.
Vegas, you guys.
Yeah, he's like, when we were talking, I'm looking over, he's like falling asleep.
Uh-oh.
So it's a good
Oh,
thing
we
that I'm
should
probably
let you
driving.
take
Yeah.
a nap or something,
We've got
dude.
more
Dude,
caffeine,
he was
too.
even
Yeah.
saying, he's like, I'm so tired, like, I'm going to come in there with you, but fuck, man, like, I need a nap.
Oh, bro, you could have napped.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's
Well,
blankets
we can
right
make
here.
a fresh pot of coffee or something.
Yeah, we've got
and,
caffeine.
We'll try and set you up.
How many coffees have you had today, though? 2? I think that's enough.
You're not the one driving to Vegas,
yeah,
bro.
Fair enough.
All right, Jake Hillhouse, everybody.
Thank you.